This Thursday morning, let's get it to Shiri now and look at some late blooming spring plants.
Yeah, you know, Gene, how sometimes life just kind of gets away from you. You want to go outside, improve the garden. Before you know it, it's almost summer. Well, don't you worry, we can still get some color in there, even though it's now late spring. So I went ahead and I traveled over to Weston Nurseries and I met up with Peter Mezitt, and he told me what's still good to go in the garden. So Peter and I have successfully coined a new term. It's called the gap plant. And what exactly, Peter, would the gap plant be?
Well, I kind of made that up this morning.
I love it.
It's kind of, you know, the end of spring. We're almost into summer, and we've all seen the early blooming plants. Now perennials are starting, but there's also a lot of woody plants that bloom in late spring into early summer.
Okay. All right, so we're getting some color here. What exactly is this? Because we have talked about a similar but a smaller form of this in the past.
An azalea. This is a tall growing deciduous azalea. It's out of the test gardens here at the nursery. But it shows you this is blooming into June. These leaves go away in the wintertime. It's a deciduous plant. But the colors are great, and deciduous azaleas bloom into July.
Okay, it's awful pretty. I mean, it really is. What a nice pop of color. And this one, I mean, a very dainty and delicate flower, right?
Right. This is a Carey Award winner called Enkianthus campanulatus, if you can say that.
No, I cannot.
Okay. Tiny little red flowers, red veined. It's called the red vein enkianthus. It attracts a ton of bees. Blooms for about 2 or 3 weeks into June as well.
So I love that one, and this one as well. This one, this one will pretty much explode, right?
This one just comes up about 8 feet and just is a show of flowers, light pink flowers. It's called the beauty bush, or kolkwitzia is the Latin name for it.
All right, so awful pretty there. And then this one is interesting because it's a little bit different. We actually get the reds. I mean, it's just a completely different color for the garden.
This is one, it's sensation weigela, but most of the weigelias have this red flower, but they also, like you say, have this red foliage too. This one blooms a little later, goes into June. You know, I should say all these plants that bloom into June tend to attract hummingbirds as well.
Oh my gosh. Oh, girls, if you're listening, Mommy's on top of it, don't worry. All right, so this one's neat.
This little guy here, just a small version of Itea, likes the shade. You can see the white pinnacles. The flowers are about to come out on that. Blooms into the second week of June.
Now, does it spread out or up, or does it stay relatively that size?
This one's called Little Henry, so this one only gets about 3 feet.
Okay.
The species actually gets double that.
Little Henry.
Little Henry versus Henry.
It's got a name already.
Put it in front of the house, it's fine there.
And then 2 different variety of what?
Mountain laurel. So you can see the variations here. We got one called Carol and one called Minuet. Carol has a red bud, opens up pink. Minuet has a band around the flower.
And I think I know you too well here. You would love to put these two together in a garden somewhere, right?
Yeah, just like rhododendron. Mix it up a little bit, let them grow into each other.
I have to agree, though. I think it adds dimension.
Yeah, and they offset each other a little bit on their timing. So yeah, a little longer bloom time when you do that.
I like that idea very much. And then this one, which has obviously been a fixture here for quite some time.
Yeah, this is in our display gardens. This is a Chinese dogwood, or a cornus kousa. And this is a very, very common.
Are these actual flowers?
They are. They're flowers. They actually turn into leaves after they bloom. But the great thing about the Chinese dogwood is that it blooms for over a month, sometimes a month and a half. So you get a lot of color out of this, and it's again later into the year, into the summer, versus most trees bloom in the spring.
Now, would you expect this to continue to grow over time, or is this kind of maxed out?
Yeah, this one actually is a dwarf version, but the regular version gets about 20, 25 feet tall.
It's perfect. A lot bigger than Shiri size. I love it so much. All right, so I mean, that kind of sums up the gap plant, and these are great options to kind of keep the color going in your garden throughout the spring into the summer. Peter, as always, we're going to send people over to you, Weston Nurseries, and you can get the scoop there. And I hope you're ready to plant either today or Sunday, because we've got a whole mess that we're going to be dealing with. I'm actually going to zip off and do some zip trip stuff, so handing the click over to Sarah, who gets to wear her hair down tomorrow.
Inside.
I'll be outside like this. All right, so much more on the forecast coming up with this lady. I'm going to zip out of here, and we'll be right back.